All right, you guys. Well, happy Friday. Number one, thank you for being here today. This is our official ribbon cutting and public forum for Open Plains Transit. As you guys can see, our new name, our new logo, and for the first time, having public transit service in the city and community of Valentine. So that's a happy dance for the we have to have that. It's a really great day. My name is Corrine Donahue, and I'm with the Nebraska Department of Transportation Mobility Management team. We also have the state transit manager, Carrie Roos, and she'll say just a few words in a little bit. But we're really proud to be here today. We have a lot of people in our community that need public transportation, and you guys have made it happen. So it's a really, really great day. We do have just a few housekeeping items. The restrooms are just back in this hallway. We have refreshments and goodies on the side. Help yourself. We don't have coffee, so you just have water and cookies today, but please help yourself. And then lastly, before I turn it over to Shane, thank you to the National Park Service for this amazing room, this facility. There's beautiful displays of what we have in our backyard here. Susan will talk just a few minutes about this great facility and the things that'll be here. But welcome today. Thank you again for coming. And Shane, I pass it over to you, sir.
Hi, I'm Shane Seward. I'm the city manager in Valentine. And I guess all I can tell you is the process of how this happened, how we ended up having a transportation service in Valentine. It all started back in 2021, right? I guess that's when we first found out that the Good Samaritan people were pulling out of their 3 facilities in Valentine. And they had, I'm assuming they had sold the one, Prairie Estates, and Peg Snell became the manager of that facility. So she came to me in November of 2021, after researching it a bit to find out what we could do to have some kind of public transportation in Valentine. I believe she called Neely to find out their service, and they have what they call dial-a-ride. And she explained the process and how it works. So at that point, I called Carrie Roos with the state to find out the process and how to do it. And she sent me all the information that we needed. And she also suggested that, well, we could apply for it ourselves and do it ourselves. She also suggested that we might want to do it regionally, and suggested Open Plains Transit. I think they were Panhandle Transit at the time. Might be interested in expanding into our area since they had just taken over Sheridan County from, I think, Northwest Community Action. So that's when, then the nursing home, I forgot to tell you, the reason that people weren't getting transportation is Good Samaritan was apparently driving people. They had some kind of a shuttle, and I think they serviced all of their facilities, and that stopped. And then that's when Peg noticed that there was a need for this service. So the nursing home closed officially at the end of the year in December. And so after talking to Carrie, I talked to Johnny with Panhandle Transit, and she sent me a list of the steps you need to follow to start a transit service. It seemed like a lot. But I felt we were lucky because we had somebody here from the what do we call it? From the Lead for Nebraska Fellowship Program, and she was going to be here for 2 years. I'm like, well, this is a perfect project for her. But unfortunately, she left right after we came up with a good project. So, and mind you, the whole time I'm talking here, whatever I'm talking about, Peggy was regularly talking to me or in my office, trying to move this forward. So she deserves most of the credit for this moving along as quickly as it did. So I ended up putting the item on the agenda for the city council. So that was in February. of 2022. And they voted to proceed with well, consider at that point establishing the public transit. And then I think after that point, I did email a couple of county commissioners to see if they'd be interested. And at that point, I hadn't heard back anything. So I think in July, I called Johnny back again. She had probably forgotten about us by then to say, what can we do to speed this along? You know, rather than starting from scratch. And her idea was she could just come up and meet with people. So we scheduled a meeting.
August 4th.
On August 4th, yeah. And of course, I assume not a lot of people would want to be there. So I was just gonna do it in my office. But there was a lot more interest in the subject, so we moved it over to the library. And we had people from the city, the county, new, senior living, which has been PEG, the senior center, local children and families organization, the hospital, tourism people, somebody from DHHS, and we also received an email of support from the school superintendent. I think after that meeting, I think Johnny was encouraged by that because the turnout and then what everybody was saying, how much it was needed in the area. So after that, Johnny continued working on it, continued meeting with people, you know, figuring out what it would take to expand their service. And then in September of 2022, that's when we had it on the agenda for the council to provide the local match. So, because she had calculated at that time the administrative costs plus the 2 vehicles she needed to buy. And I mean, I didn't explain this before, I'm sure most of you already know this, but a huge portion of all this is paid by state and federal grants. So the local match it depends on what it is, but it's 10 to 25% of certain costs. Is that right? Some are 25 and some are 10. So we had a number, we put it on the agenda and the council agreed to pay the local match. And so that's how we proceeded. And services, and then we did the memorandum of understanding with Johnny the following month, and services started on November 15th. And then from that point on, I think people continue to talk to the hospital to see if they wanted to make a contribution towards the project. And we applied to the Raleigh Pastel, was it just called Grant Foundation?
Pastel Charitable
Foundation to help pay for the match. So in the interim, so they did award the grant to cover that cost. And as far as the other hospitals still working on their contribution. I guess the only bad part is this is only through June. Then we're gonna have to do it all over again.
We're gonna do it all over again in just a couple weeks.
So anyway, that's the story of how it ended up in Valentine. And like I said, the real person pushing it was Peggy Snell. So that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Shane. Andrew, would you want to come up for a moment and tell us about your foundation and why is public transportation important to your foundation and our community in general?
Last time I had one of these in my hand, it didn't go so
Well,
Just like last people out with my loud voice, just tell me to
You're
turn
good.
it down.
thank you.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrew Johnson. I'm an attorney here in Valentine. And I had the great pleasure of being the attorney for Roland Pastel, who was known as Raleigh. And he lived a wonderfully long life, just over 100 years. And his father was a co-owner of a clothing store and general merchandise store here in Valentine called the Red Front. And through the years, the Pastel family accumulated some very substantial assets. And the plan for their resources going back at least 40 years was to form a foundation and give back to the local community. As the money was made here, the Pastel family thought that it should stay here and go back to the community. So that's what we're doing. After Mr. Pastel died, we formed a foundation, which is a trust specified, gave all the terms and what we were to do and how we were to do it. We got that done. And we have a 4-person board. We're all here today. Bernard Eklund, Ann Quigley, and Rita Irvin O'Keefe. They're all, along with me, members. They're very dedicated to philanthropy and the community. And Mr. Pastel, for those of you, presumably several of you knew him, but some of you I can tell looking out here did not. He was very interested in books, loved the library. He loved taking pictures of different buildings around town and tracking births and marriages and deaths for the Historical Society. He just had a very well-rounded life. And last few years of his life, he was in Cherry Hills Estates, and fortunately, he was able to stay there until he did pass away. And the transport service he would love, and all of the board agreed that if this is something that would really touch Raleigh, because he could call up, get on the transport service, go to his beloved library, go to church, do all of the things that he loved doing, and not have to worry about trying to arrange independent or private transportation. So we know that he's with us in spirit, and just absolutely grateful that his board, carrying on his legacy of philanthropy, has put this grant in place. So anyway, it will be also, aside from that, it'll be a wonderful resource for a community where there are a lot of elderly people and a lot of people who don't have access to quality transportation. So we're very proud and honored to have been a part of this. Thank you.
Wow, what a story. I didn't even know. And thank you, board members, all of you. Please don't leave before we get photos, everyone in front of the bus. So just know, he didn't tell you that, I told you that, so it's all good. Our next speaker, just very briefly, as Kyle told me, is our CEO at Cherry County Hospital. If you could come forward, Kyle, and let us know the story that transportation is for you every day, or your staff or patients that are able to visit.
Well, I'll try to keep it somewhat short because I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so I'll try to stop from coughing. So thank you all for being here. The hospital obviously is very, very happy to participate in this service. You know, from a community perspective, it's not just the hospital that has this need, as everybody's already stated, right? It's across the entire community, and it's not just for hospital services. But when I first heard about this, Kyle Argenbright called me and he said, "Hey, what do you think about this? And could it be something that you could support?" And I said, "Well, first of all, yes, that's great. Could tell me now some details." And so he got me hooked up with Johnny, and I think 2 or 3 different Zoom calls, and we talked with our board, who's been extremely supportive. And we went back and got some more information from Johnny and brought it back, and as an organization decided this is definitely the right thing for the community. And from a partner perspective, the hospital is more than happy to be a partner. So we feel very fortunate to be included in this. We're very happy to do so. And you know, we're really looking forward to what is to come, because this is just the beginning, right? From a healthcare perspective, how does this affect us? Well, you know, access to healthcare, as probably many of you know, is not easy. It can be very challenging, and it's no different really across the nation. But as we feel here in Cherry County, just something as small as getting to your primary care appointment. We've seen for probably well before me, Peg's probably seen this, you know, that's been a challenge to be able to get there. So what that does is if people cannot get to their appointment, Well, now that appointment slot is no longer available for somebody else. So this has helped with that, for the community to be able to come into their appointment, whether it's primary care or say for their MRI. We have team members in the organization that have utilized the service to come in to and from work. So it's been a really just a heavily used and beneficial aspect for the hospital and the clinic. And Johnny gave me some numbers. I said, so where are we sitting, Johnny? We started November 15th. What does this look like? And she said, well, there've been a lot of rides, and 87% of those rides have been for healthcare related services. So I think that speaks more than volumes to what the service has done. Big kudos to Peg. And Peg's always been a big driver. I've only known Peg for 3 years, but a big driver in the community. And this was another one of those special services that she's brought in. So yeah, we're very happy to participate, very happy to be partners in this, and continue to watch this grow. Thank you.
It is amazing that Kyle, in just one of our conversations when we were hanging out today, mentioned one of his staff members uses the transit service to get to and from work. It affects our economy. It's wonderful to see it happen. Our next speaker is Miss Susan, who is our superintendent here at this amazing facility. She gets to tell you about all the good things, which I can't even start with. So all yours.
All right, thank you. Well, first of all, I want to say welcome to our visitor center. We're very proud to partner with this group because this is very important to us also. People having access to even come visit us, and because we're here year round, and we want you to bring your families here. So here at Niobrara National Scenic River, we have the pleasure of protecting and managing the 76 miles of a National Scenic River. We have over 200 waterfalls in that space. We have 6 ecosystems that overlap with each other. So we have plants and animals that commingle, which means we have hybrids found nowhere else in the world but here. We also sit on some of the largest paleontological resources in the country, and they're back to the Pleistocene era. So we find early mammals here. So I used to vacation here every year with our family and our 3 sons. I had no idea these resources existed until I moved here and started working here. So I'm all about trying to get our local community to know what an amazing world-class resource we do have here. So we also tell the story of the caretakers of this river. We start with the Native Americans, to the homesteaders, the Kincaders, to the ranchers and the farmers, and today the landowners and the outfitters, because many of the outfitters are landowners down there. So that's what we talk about and what we do. So the Park Service also has a very strong mission to accessibility. In fact, I have a certificate in accessible design that was done through the National Park Service. So part of what we do is we do training for all of our staff. We do universal design, which means anything and everything we create and build is as anybody can use or experience. We do that with our indoor spaces, our outdoor spaces, programs, and activities. So what do we do here at Niobrara? So this park is very strong in accessibility. And we've really been working hard recently and got special funding. So the Smith Falls Landing that is there now, that came from National Park Service special funds that we applied for and received. We're working on Brewer Landing now. One of the things that's going to go in this spring is accessible mats. So people with accessible issues are able to get in and out of that area easily. We also have a prairie wheelchair. So people are going out on the trails at the fort. They can check out the wheelchair. We can get it there. You don't have to take it there yourself, but it's available to us here. We show, we have a great film that anybody can watch any day. You can come in here. It's 20 minutes. It really talks about the history and story of this area. It's audio described. So basically someone can come in and put this on. And if you are visually impaired and you can't see this very well, it's going to tell you everything that everybody else is seeing. The other thing it does is any kiosk we have in this building, you can attach, you can go up to it and they're audio described also, or they can enhance just the volume. We also have the loop accessible. So you would attach that to this, and if you had a cochlear implant, it would attach to that, so you would be able to enhance hearing and see. So we do everything we can. Coming this summer, or as soon as we can get it through contracting, basically, is accessible front doors. That's been my issue since I walked in here 3 years ago. These doors are not accessible. I had a bad ankle injury and I was on a scooter, and it is really difficult to get in and out of these without getting stuck. So if somebody's in a wheelchair, we need to fix this, and we are working on that. New for us coming this spring is we have a new partnership with an organization called Project Healing Waters. And what Project Healing Waters does is they worked with disabled veterans in physical therapy. And instead of going to a gym or to a clinic to do physical therapy, they are doing fly fishing. And part of the purpose of this is that you were taking them into nature, and we were also letting nature heal them, mind, body, and soul. It's a holistic view of it. And so we have our first veterans coming to us this spring. And that project will just be growing from there. They've asked us to host the national event in 2025. So we'll be doing that then. And every time we do anything, we are looking at it through a lens of how does this affect anybody, any person that is visiting us. So every time we look at something, we're looking at, like, can a person in a wheelchair participate in this? Can somebody who is mobility impaired, can they walk around this? So we have a very strong interest in this, and so this just kind of ties into all of our park things too. And basically, I just want to welcome you to your national park site. This is yours. It belongs to the citizens of the United States, so it belongs to everybody in this room. So thank you very much.
Yes, you guys, Susan, thank you and your team for just being gracious hosts today and allowing us to see these amazing exhibits. When and if your families have not been here, please bring them by, because there's feel things, there's touch things, it's all the cool things that kids love. So bring them on over. Miss Johnny Cusack, you're next, and you'll introduce the NDOT team after your short brief. And then before anybody leaves, we do have to cut the ribbon outside, so don't go anywhere, but we'll all head outside after we do the last of the speech, about another 5 minutes. Thank you, Johnny.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm the one who asked for the microphone. Probably a good thing. Well, as Corrine said, I'm Johnny Cusick. I'm the Director of Transportation for Senior Services Incorporated, now doing business as Open Plains Transit. Senior Services Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is based out of Alliance, Nebraska. We began many of the services in 1968 for Boxview County, such as raising funds to begin and expand the current senior center, partnering with the Aging Office of Western Nebraska for the local nutrition program, beginning and overseeing programs such as the RSVP and the handyman programs, and beginning public transportation services in 1974 for Boxview County. What began as transit services for senior citizens only has evolved several times through the decades to provide public transportation services to the general public of all ages. Accessible transportation for those with various levels of mobility needs. And we've expanded to provide intercity bus services throughout the Nebraska Panhandle, including routes up to Pine Ridge, South Dakota, and soon to Rapid City, South Dakota. We offer demand response services to over 30 Nebraska communities to empower passengers to reach our intercity bus stops, addressing first mile, last mile gaps in services in these communities. We support demand response services in rural Boxview County so that those residents can reach community or county communities. And we also support services throughout Sheridan County and now here in Valentine, Nebraska. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for supporting these services, and thank you for being proactive and wanting to see these types of services for your community. We believe in offering services that assist in leveling the mobility field. We believe in being inclusive to all. We support diversity in the communities that we serve, to be accessible for everyone. Those are the goals that our organization strives for. We believe in the vitality of communities and stimulating economic development. We believe in the growth, sustainability for rural communities all throughout Nebraska and all throughout our rural communities on a national level. We believe that access to healthcare should be a right, that we can assist in eliminating the barriers to the social determinants of health. People should have access to food. They should have access to healthy food. We believe that lives should not revolve around transportation, that transportation services should revolve around people's lives. We believe that all of these things are possible through the use of public transportation. We began with the soft start in Valentine, the latter part of November, and Shane kind of gave you a description of some of the things leading up to that. And even though the project or a project this size requires a year of planning, and then we go into execution and the implementation stage, we realized the needs of your community and wanted to get started with some level of service just as soon as we possibly could. So we are happy to announce that already our first expansion starts next week. We'll be offering services Monday through Friday, and we're going to be starting earlier in the day. So we'll be starting transports as early as 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and like I said, Monday through Friday. With that being said, we understand that we still have much work to do, primarily website, social media, and marketing updates. But we're working on that. We will have this, we hope to have that phase completed soon. All of this could not be possible without the foresight, the commitment, and the financial support of the following: the Valentine City Council, the Valentine City Manager. Thank you, Shane. I know you gave a lot of credit to Peg, but I know that you were a driving force as well. Cherry County Hospital, Susan Cook, thank you for letting us totally turn your visitor center upside down today. And thank you for being proactive in the accessible improvements that you've made to many of the recreation areas around Valentine and in Cherry County. Of course, the Nebraska Department of Transportation, Gary Roos, your transit team is amazing. Thank you. NDOT Mobility Manager, Bill Biven and team. You guys kept me on task. Here we are today. But really, Olson and Associates, Treen and your team, we couldn't be here today with a lot of the resources that we hope that everybody will look at, take home with you, just peruse through after we get done with our presentations and the ribbon cutting. Thank you to all of you. You guys really, we couldn't have done this without you guys, so thanks. We also want to thank the Federal Transit Administration. We are part of Region 7. They've always been supportive of all of our crazy ideas and thoughts, needs. We wish they could be here today, but hopefully soon. The Pestel Foundation, Andrew, Board of Directors, thank you for just believing, for doing this for the community of Valentine and starting these types of services. And then we have community advocates and supporters, and I'm sure I'm going to forget some of those. But our local media, KVSH radio, I thought I seen Kim somewhere. What's here now? But you know, they've just been awesome in trying to help us get the word out. And just really been great supporters since the very beginning. Valentine Midland News has put the word out for us. Shelley Peer with INCAP, Ellen Froming from the Valentine Senior Center, the Valentine Public Library. Everyone who has assisted us just by word of mouth, by sharing our Facebook posts, by just talking to one another, just in being open-minded to see where the possibilities can go with transportation services for your community and the surrounding region. Then our local transit team, Mark Stoger. I think many of you know Mark that live here locally. He is just amazing. I wish he could be here today, but he couldn't. Kent Lopez. I think Kent's in the back. Thank you. Raise your hand. Mark and Kent were the first two people that we hired. They really helped us kind of get our office, our bus barn, everything kind of cleaned up, got us organized. You know, it really got the wheels on the ground. Sammy Byrne, I can see you back there. You might be trying to hide. She is our newest recruit for the transit team. We're really happy to have her on board, so thank you. And I think I would be really remiss if I didn't thank my board of directors from Senior Services Incorporated. They're amazing. They have always supported the quest of public transportation. Some of my crazy ideas are like, oh, really? Valentine? Do you think we can do it? And I said, if we don't, who's going to? Those people in Valentine need our help. So whatever it takes, whether we're the ones who do a long term, whether we just help them get started, somebody's got to do it. And so I don't know. You guys must be my kind of crazy, but they are, and they just have they've just been amazing through all the years and supporting me and where our dreams can go and how we can help people through the use of public transportation. So thank you. But especially my board president, who has been there through thick and thin, picked me up when I got tired, has donated countless hours. Countless volunteer hours through the years. Thanks. Raise your hand. So it always makes me a little emotional. I'm very passionate about what we do, but you know, we can't do it without good teams. We can't do it without a great support system. So one thing I want to say to the community of Valentine is thank you for choosing us to allow us to at least kickstart these services for your community. Hopefully we're partners for a long time. Something we're very passionate about is public transportation. It's the only thing that we do, and we try to do it very well. And we will try to do it really great for your community. So I think without further ado, we have Carrie Roos, who is the Transit Program Specialist for the Nebraska Department of Transportation.
Thanks, Johnny. We're so excited to be here this afternoon to represent the Nebraska Department of Transportation to officially launch this service. So let me explain to you the role that NDOT has in this project. So in a nutshell, we are the keeper of the funding. We are tasked by state statute to support and coordinate transportation across the state and to provide technical assistance to providers like Johnny and Open Plains Transit in the provision of that transportation. So let me just reiterate what Johnny said. The federal funding for this project is to support rural public transportation. It's not elderly and disabled transportation, which is oftentimes it is taken for that. And you mentioned the service that Good Sam's provided. They likely provided specialized transportation for the elderly and the disabled. This is public transportation, and it's open to anybody that needs a ride within the service hours and within the service area of this project. So I've been in transit for about 10 years, and it seems like every couple of years I get a call from somebody in Valentine saying, we really need transit service in Valentine. So I talked to Peg, I talked to Shane, and in one of the conversations with Shane, I put him in contact with Johnny Cusick because at that time, Panhandle Transit, Panhandle Trails was changing their business model. And in addition to providing intercity bus service, they were also branching out into Sheridan County to provide what's called demand response service. And demand response service is just that. Sometimes it's called a dial-a-ride. You contact the transit agency and you book your trip. And they will come to your door or your curb and they will pick you up and they will take you to your destination and then back home again. So Johnny became involved and here we are today. So thanks to Johnny. Yeah, you could blame me. It's all me. So in transit, we like to say that it takes a transit champion to make things happen. And in the Panhandle region, you are very fortunate to have Johnny as your transit champion. She has won a national award several years ago for her work in the Panhandle and her passion for this project. I would also like to thank Kareen and her team at Olson's because at NDOT, we don't have the staff that we could send out here, for example, to spend countless days, if not weeks, to help set up this service. So NDOT leverages our funding and we hire Olson to come out here and provide that technical assistance that we're required to provide for this program. So a great day, really a nice January day. So happy that we're here to finally launch this service. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. And what's really exciting, in addition to what Carrie said, is Cherry County and Valentine will be one of 50 transit agencies across the state of Nebraska. And all of that is under Carrie's umbrella and her team at DOT. So welcome to the 50 transit agencies on this exciting day that we do get to celebrate. Bill Biven, sir, where are you? Bill Biven is our Nebraska statewide mobility manager. He speaks to all 50 transit agencies and he's been wanting to be in Valentine for a long time. So Bill, take it away, sir.
Hi, everyone. As Corinne mentioned, my name is Bill Biven. I'm the statewide mobility manager. I work for the Center for Public Affairs Research at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. And with the Nebraska Department of Transportation and with the Olson team on the statewide mobility management project. Team has been mentioned a couple of times, so I wanted to plug the university as part of that team and just point out again that we really appreciate the leadership in the community. We appreciate Johnny's leadership on this project. It never would have happened without you all. And that there is a substantial team behind the scenes. We have people at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. We have people at the University of Nebraska, Kearney that provide the training to the bus drivers. We provide help with marketing, with the training, other resources. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of people to help and to assist you in this transit project and making it a success. Thinking back, I think Carrie and I started on this project in like 2013, and we had hired consultants, I don't know, every few years to look at the statewide picture and look at the needs and gaps. And every year we had a big rectangle at the top of the state that there was no transit service. And, we always were annoyed by that and wanted that to be on our map as a place that had transit. So having it in Valentine today is the realization of a dream that has been in our minds for a very long time. And we are just very excited to have it here. I think when we started, there were something like 13 counties without service of any kind. And at this point, I think we're down to 5. And so we've just got a few more to go, and we hope to get there. We really want people to have access to statewide transportation. That's the ultimate goal. So that not just here in Valentine, that you'll be able to go from Valentine to Chadron, or from Valentine to Lincoln, or Valentine to Scotts Bluff. So you'll really have regional access, you'll have statewide access. That is the future vision that we are moving toward. So yeah, thank you everyone for showing up, and I'll pass the mic.
All right, we have one last speaker, and our last speaker is actually the mastermind behind this design and that very large bus that you passed when you walked in the door. Tracy, come up to the front and tell us how this idea came from our local community and just from input from our Cherry County area.
Hi, my name is Tracy Jones. How's that volume? Good. Okay. And I own a company located in Colorado called Studio 6. And what we do is we brand and market public transportation. So I was thrilled when Johnny called me, because we actually have an expertise in rural transportation. So when Johnny and I worked together on this particular project, this is really a project that's dear to my heart, because I'm originally from the Midwest. So I grew up in a very rural community, the rolling hills all around our home. And when Johnny came to me and she said, this is what we love about Nebraska. We love the open plains, we love the rolling hills, the grasslands. Our goal when we brand a public transportation system is to make sure that that system reflects the community that it serves. And so that's how this design came about, is we really wanted to capture the unique flavor of this region. So when Johnny came to us, she said, we really want to do something very different. We don't want it to be colorful, really bright. We want it to be very rich, a lot of browns and beautiful rust tones that really reflect this region. So you're going to see all of those colors reflected in your particular vehicle. So I'm going to point out a few little details here. We named the service Open Plains Transit, and we now have this trademarked. And we wanted to choose a very friendly font. You're going to see the agricultural rose represented here in that A. So not only is it a motion line, but it was truly inspired by the agriculture of the region. I hope you recognize this. This was the windmill that we see everywhere. And here you're going to see these beautiful, rich tones that Johnny was really inspired by. When you look at the bus, I'm going to point out a few things that we really pay attention to. What's incredible about the people in this room is everyone collaborated. I mean, listen to the number of people here today who worked to get this launched is just a testament to the passion of this community. So it's my goal to always infuse public transportation with a sense of motion. This is a community in motion, in progress, and improving. When you look at this, not only do you see the architectural rows, and it's hard to see in this particular slide, but when you go out, you'll see some very subtle details. So the architectural rows are included. That gives that vehicle a lot of motion. You'll see some grays that look very metallic, and then you see the logo. At night, that logo will actually be reflective. So you'll see that vehicle even into the evening. And when it's dark here at 5 o'clock, you'll want to see that vehicle. The other thing that we really pay attention to, which is very difficult and requires the expertise of an expert fabricator, is notice when you go out how the wrap on that, you see the furthest edge of the vehicle, that wrap is going to continue to the back seamlessly. And that is a very difficult thing to achieve with a vehicle. So we had an expert fabricator out of Colorado who did that wrap. So that's just a little bit of background as to the actual design, and Johnny and I worked really closely and we developed a number of different look and feels, but I think that we really captured the grasslands, the open plains, the rolling hills to really represent this region. What do you think? All right. But thank you for allowing us to work on this project, and it's just an incredible opportunity to see all of you here today and being so enthusiastic about this project. So let's go out and look at the bus.
Okay, just a couple. We gotta go look at Tracy's in-depth work. Yes, sir.
I'd like to say something.
Yes, come on around.
What's your name?
This is Jim, audience.
It's just emotional. I love the bus service. I moved to Valentine from Omaha. And I came here and never had a car. I rode my bike and I walked. And I was looking at this winter and it was going to be a hard winter. I knew that. And I'm thinking, I have to leave Valentine. I did not want to leave Valentine. This is the bestest community in the world. And I look out, I see all these people, and it's because of each of us in this room. And I want to share one thing that makes me really happy. I'm a bird guy. I think most everybody knows that. And I can take the bus. I go to the store. I can buy bird food, bird seed. I have 40 turkeys show up at my house. I have 4 deer. I have juncos. I have squirrels. And I have one tribute. And this is the hard one. And I have a turkey. And her name is Gloria. She only has 1 foot. She hops and she's always behind the rest of the turkeys, and the other females chase her away, and just she's smart enough because she hangs around. And because of the bus service, I can go and get food, and Gloria is happy, and it's the bestest thing to have a happy turkey. Gloria is very happy, and all the turkeys and the turkeys and the deers and the squirrels and the juncos and the sparrows and the doves, they all have me pretty well trained. And again, it's only because I'm still here, and that is because the transfer arrived at the perfect time for me to still be here then. Thank you.
We want all riders, just as this gentleman is a citizen in our community, and we're able to help them because of you here. So you make a difference every day to ones that were able to make it to our meeting today. And it's just an amazing thing that, without this audience, this media that we have, we wouldn't be here today. So love it. We have a couple of just last announcements, and then we do have the official big scissors and a ribbon cutting outside. On this table up here, we have several brochures and a comment sheet. If you need service in a specific area, if you know someone that needs service, please write this down. As Johnny mentioned, there was a soft start since November. We're in a different season. People come and go. So if you know someone that needs transit service and we don't know about it, Johnny's holding up the form right there. Pencils over there, clipboards. Also, if someone owns a red Taurus, we're going to have you shift it just a little bit so we can get an amazing picture out the front side because it's sunshine today, which is amazing. Miss Johnny, would you like to wrap up and say thank you? And then we will head outside. Unless you have a red Taurus, go back it up so we can get a good picture. You can shut us down and we'll go take a picture and be back.
I think that anybody that knows me knows that I am not really great at public speaking. And so I just wanted to make sure, I know she's back there visiting, but you know, sometimes your mind just goes blank when you have days like this and it's just been kind of a whirlwind. But I wanted to make sure that I had said thank you to Peg Snow. She has been the community transit advocate and has helped us through so much in the last few months to help get this project off the ground and to be my boots on the ground in Valentine. So through everything in the whirlwind and that we're going through today in the last few days, I just wanted to make sure that I said thank you to Peg. We certainly appreciate you, and she's not done yet, so watch out, folks. So we are going to ask everyone to please join us for the ribbon cutting outside. And then we would like to be able to come back inside, have some cookies, be able to talk to everyone who wants to talk with us one-on-one. Just visit, get to know each other, find out what the needs are, if there's gaps in services for maybe your business, your organization. Visit with our state folks before they might have to head back to Lincoln. And let's just enjoy this beautiful winter day in Valentine. Thank you everyone for coming.
Sorry, I keep muting because I'm yelling at people to get over there.
And let's get the front.
What's have those guys come with back a little bit? So. Need to go. How about you go over there for the picture? Is that going to be okay?